Hi guys, Alyssa here from Songbird Spirals. Today I'm going to show you how I made this macrame spiral coaster. This tutorial is great for beginners and the perfect place to start if you've seen my pillow tutorial and you want to get the technique down before moving on to a bigger project. I'm using a 4mm single strand cotton cord, but feel free to use any rope or cord that you have on hand. On the screen is the number of cords and the lengths that you'll need to start with. You'll also need a cork or foam board, some sewing pins, and some scissors. Starting with the 5-foot cord, go ahead and make a loop at the end like so. This will be our filler cord for the spiral. Now to set this up, we're going to be mounting 4 cords onto this section here that's overlapped using a reverse lark's head knot. So go ahead and grab one of the cords cut to 30 inches and fold it in half. Place the loop under this section here and carry the loop over the top and then bring the ends through the loop. Pull the ends to tighten the knot. So now you're just going to do this 3 more times so that we have a total of 4 cords added onto this overlapped section. Now that all 4 cords are attached to the filler cord, you're just going to pull the long end of that 5-foot cord until the circle disappears. And you just want to get it as tight as you can so that you're forming a little circle of where our starting point is going to be. Now grab a pin to secure it down to the board. The longer cord will be our filler cord as we work our way around the middle, but first we need to add in our last 30-inch cord. So go ahead and fold it in half and mount it onto the filler cord with another reverse lark's head knot. Tighten the knot and then slide it up to meet that middle section. Now we're going to skip that short end. You can hide it in the back if you need to. And our first knot will be with that next cord on the right. Start by laying the filler cord over the top of the first working cord. Next, you're going to bring the end of the working cord over the filler cord, creating a loop at the bottom. Now pass the end of the working cord behind the filler cord and down through the loop. Pull the end to tighten. Do this one more time with the same working cord, creating a double half hitch knot, which is also known as a clove hitch knot. Now moving on to the next working cord on the right, you're going to do that same process, so it's going to be a double half hitch knot again, making sure to keep your filler cord straight as you're tightening your knot. Keep adding pins as your work gets bigger to keep it flat onto the board. This just makes it easier to work with and also keeps you from tying your knots too tight, which can cause the coaster to curve up. Now, before we tie our next knot, we need to add in another cord. Anytime you see a gap like this, you're going to want to add in another cord. To determine the length of the cord, you'll measure the one next to it and double that length because we're going to be folding each cord in half before we add it in. So I like to keep my roll of cord next to me and just measure against the next working cord and cut strands as I need them. Once that cord is added, you'll move on to the next working cord, continuing to tie double half-hitch knots with each cord. If you come across another gap and you aren't sure if you should add in a cord, here's a good rule of thumb. If the gap is about the same width as a double half-hitch knot, that's when you would want to add in a cord. If the gap is smaller, you'd continue like normal. Usually by the next knot, you'll need to add in another cord. I like to stop when my coaster is about 4 inches wide and I have about 12 rows of knots going across. Now you can go ahead and take all the pins out and remove it from your board. And we're just going to give the ends a trim. This next step is optional, but I like to comb out the ends for a softer fringe. The single strand cord combs out so beautifully, but if you're using a multiply cord, you might find it easier to untwist the plies before combing or using a wider tooth comb. And after it's all combed out, I like to clean up the ends with a final trim. If you haven't already done so, you can cut the short end on the back. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials.